System I'm about to show you changed my life. It stopped my doom scrolling. It stopped my addiction to TikTok. It made me stop asking myself, what am I doing with my life? Most people fail at their goals because they're chasing the wrong thing. They think that, oh, happiness comes after I achieve something, after I've accomplished something. But the human brain isn't wired that way. It's not about reaching the end. It's about being in the pursuit of the goal itself. This process, the pursuit, the progress you're making is what makes you happy. Now, the psychology behind this actually goes way back in time to our ancestors where we are hunting and foraging for our food. It is really hard work to do that much of things in super cold climates. So it makes sense that human evolution will reward them for doing all this hard work because after they've accomplished maybe like hunting down the deer, they'll feel such a huge spike of dopamine. That's their reward chemical and the chemical that makes them happy, which will make them think, okay, if I do this, I get a surge of dopamine. I feel happy, I feel good that I've achieved such a hard thing. So the next time I do a hard thing, I will look forward to it instead. So I'm going to show you the exact system I used, not just this poster board, but combined with digital systems as well, that made me so addicted to my goals that I couldn't not execute. I just had to do it. And this isn't motivation, this is intentional architecture, because when you can design your life like that, right? Like once you just understand this, you can engineer your whole life around this mindset, around this science-backed psychology theory, and get addicted to improving your life instead of getting addicted to doom scrolling. Okay, the first thing you need, right, is your brain needs a time frame to work with. It needs like a deadline. This can be anything. It can be the 12-week year, it can be a 90-day challenge, it can be the 75 hard, 75 soft, whatever, as long as there's a clear timeline and it's short. Yeah, the reason why I say this, right, is because 12 months is way too of a stretch for the human mind to comprehend. Whereas 12 weeks is just 3 months. You can visually see the 12 weeks. You can see it's right in front of you and you just have to strive for it. Okay, so for myself, this is actually quarter 1 of the year. So January, February and March. So I did with this poster board, right? It's just a regular straw board, by the way. I got it from Willow Bookstore. What I did is I cut it down 3 sections and I taped it together so I can like fold it. So this gives my entire year in a glance. This is quarter 2, quarter 3 and quarter 4. There's other respective months and I just split it like that. Okay, so X marks the end date of my 12 weeks. The weeks numbers are over here, 10, 11 and 12. This black post-it, right, is based on my calculation. There are 52 weeks in a year. And if I'm doing a 12-week year, oh, amazing book by the way. If you haven't given it a read, you definitely should. Because books either like new insights to implement in your life such that you lived in a much more better and optimal way, or they completely change your perception and shatter your mind beliefs that causes you to take a whole new approach. The 12-week year did that for me. I'm doing the 12-week years for the past 5 quarters. This is the first quarter. This is the 6th quarter that since 2026 I'm trying something new, which is the poster, but it's working really, really well. So yeah, so again, if I'm following 12 weeks times 4 quarters, actually 48 weeks. So 52 minus 48 weeks gives me 1 week of rest. It's something I look forward to. That's why this week is like blocked off before we move on to Q2 in April. So you need a clear timeline that your brain can visually see, okay, I'm committing this for 75 days. I'm committing this for 12 weeks for 90 days. You just need to be able to visualize it and see that. Okay, afterwards, right, you need 1 to 3 main goals. So for this, right, you would involve a lot of planning. So for this, you actually need quite a bit of planning. You need to like do a lot of like reflection. Personally, what I did was a life binder. Let me go get it. Okay, I got it. This is my life binder. And let me come a bit closer to show you. So I've planned every area of my life in this binder. I'm going to link a video up above that you can refer to because I personally did a lot of research on TikTok and both YouTube creators. Here's another one. In my life binder, I basically did like a lot of like vision boards, like finance area. This is my contents page, YouTube personal monetization goals, TikTok monetization as well, health and fitness, basically every area of life that's important to me. And the wheel of life I refer to is this. This wheel of life is something I created for myself. It was super personal. When it came to end of 2025, I literally sat down and just like reflected for 1 week. And out of that 1 week, right, each of the days took me 6 to 7 hours just to reflect on how my entire year went. I'll be doing a future video on my life binder covering each of the areas. And this wheel is a bit like personal to me. You can see there's even a book because I'm really into reading. This is reflection and maintenance. It's really important to reflect on your current progress, which is something we'll be touching on later. Okay. So this is my books page. This is stuff like my TBR, but it's not fixed. These are just the books I really want to take a second to appreciate and just delve into. Yeah, so the wheel of area of life is really personal. If you want a bit more general one, but I suggest it's best to reflect and create on your own. If you want a bit more general one, here's another image you can refer to as well. I would think that what's forefront is probably health, wealth, relationships, and happiness. Happiness can be personal projects or something you want to take over. Basically, you just need to get really clear on what are your 1 to 3 main things you want to focus on for the first Q1 of 2026. So for me personally, I wrote my top 3 goals here. So it's for YouTube is to get 1,000 subs, TikTok is to get 2,500 followers, and health health is to lose 2.5 kg of body fat. Okay, now that we've determined what is it that we want, now we have to get clear on what is our action task that can lead us towards the goals. Let's stick to the health example, right? If I want to lose 2.5 kilos of body fat in 12 weeks, what are the things I need to focus on? I need to ensure I have a high protein diet so that when I'm like doing my strength training or cardio sessions, I don't lose my muscle with my fat. Secondly is I need to have some form of cardio and strength training in, preferably maybe twice a week I'm doing gym sessions, twice a week I'm doing cardio endurance sessions. And for my strength training, I need to ensure I have some sort of progressive overload every 2 weeks or so. These are the key action tasks. And by action tasks, what I say, they are like really lever moving. Like imagine if there's like lever and you're like leveraging it, right? This small group of tasks will make such a huge difference done over time consistently. It's like every single day, as long as you do, every single week, as long as you do these tasks in the right consistency and moderation, it will make such a huge difference 12 weeks down the road. Like these are, the reason why they call lever moving is because they push the needle or push the lever closer to your desired outcome from where you are right now. Like it just brings you closer and closer and closer. Okay, afterwards, now once you know what your action tasks are, you need to put them somewhere. So these are my action tasks for YouTube. My goal is to publish out 2 videos a week, as in 2 long form videos and daily shorts, like daily YouTube shorts. So I'm able to do the daily YouTube shorts because I also repost the daily shorts on my... So it's basically the same piece of content used twice. My TikTok actually has a bit more like promptu, like day in the life vlog. So the vlogs that I planned out for are the ones that goes. Yeah, and for my health, these are my goals. And for my health, these are the action tasks. So as you can see here, right, this is a 12-year system I created by myself on Google Sheets. Previously, I used to use one from David. You can get it for free at Notion Marketplace. That's what I've been using for the past 5 quarters. It works really, really well. The reason why I changed it is because I wanted it to be a bit more like specific. I wanted to change the percentage formatting. So I figured that I might as well do it on Google Sheets because it's easier to code there than on Notion. Okay, so once I have my action tasks, and then what I do is create tick boxes and I just format the cells such that, like for example, every time I finish, let's stick to the example of posting shots every day, right? It will allow me to hit 100% if I tick 7 boxes, and the 100% will contribute to a certain percentage increase at the end of the goal. And the cell at the end of the week, like average performance, is formatted such that if it is below 75%, it will be yellow. If it's above 75%, it will be green. And if it's under 50%, it will be red. So it like prompts me to at least hit the yellow or green range. Okay, next, right, you have to plan for these action tasks, because if you don't plan for it, it is not going to happen. Because if you don't design and plan your time, it will get sucked by default, by people, by noise, by work, by distractions, by whatever is the loudest. It will just get sucked. And you have to treat your calendar so seriously because it is a reflection of you, it's a reflection of your values, what is important to you, where's your time going. Okay, for my personal rule, something I follow is that if it's on my calendar, if it is blocked off, it will get done. Okay, I'll explain this in a bit. Okay, let's go back to the list on my Google Sheets. These are my action tasks. So how will I schedule this in my calendar? Firstly, I need to block off my non-negotiables, which is going to work and going to school. So I've also color-coded them, as you can see. And then my health-wise is actually blue in color. And right now, my goals is just to have 3 strength training days. Each 3 days I go to the gym. I personally really love to swim, but I know that my schedule is sometimes a bit hectic and it doesn't allow that, so I just stick to the minimal viable option. After health-wise is done, is I schedule for my content-wise. So content is a bit special because there's like something I need to plan for, right? I need to plan ahead of, as in I need to work backwards. So on a Thursday, right, it's like I've scheduled an upload. I want it to be pre-uploaded. Likewise on Sunday, both at 6 p.m. So what that means is I actually have to work backwards. So the pink color ones are YouTube, by the way. The blue is for TikTok. Green is for my health. So I have the gym icon here. I should have actually scripted and filmed them on Monday. I should have started collecting B-roll and necessary animation and editings for Tuesday and start editing on Tuesday, such that I'm able to complete it by Wednesday and upload it on Thursday. And since I would have edited both videos by here, I'm also able to schedule for Sunday. Now with this in mind, I will need to plan my calendar such that I have at least 2 hours of scripting time and 2 hours of filming time on the next day. And a few hours set aside for editing and a few hours set aside for publishing, like packaging and scheduling the video, like the thumbnail and title wise. As for TikTok and YouTube shorts, right, I already pre-batch filmed the week before. So as you can see, there's a batch and then edit, schedule TikToks as shorts. So that part is already done and scheduled for that. So therefore, it's like throughout the week. So my TikToks and YouTube will just upload as it is. Because it's already scheduled, I just ensure to go in the platform and engage in it. Second rule I leave on my calendar is the purpose of a calendar is not just to plan your time, but also to audit your time. Means as my day goes by, right, I will track it as well. I use this strategy called double dipping. In my previous time management video, you can check it out here. Double dipping is such a game changer strategy. It's not stealing time, it's using the time that have been wasted instead. For example, at work, right, I do a lot of like sample processing, like with specimens. There are times where the sample levels are low just because there aren't just much patients. Just like how there's just no rush, right? So I have some spare time that I can use to script instead or do other things on my laptop. So this is an example of how my calendar looks like when I plan out. Like you can see the scripting block is below, right? But this is an example of a calendar, of my actual calendar, because I tend to do most of the work I need to do at work itself. So when I come home, maybe I can start filming already. So I use my calendar to both plan my time as well as audit my time. The reason why I audit my time is because at the end of the week, when I do a weekly reflection, I need to know how much time I've spent in certain areas. This came out really useful because I noticed my overall week editing time dropped in a week. I just count the black blocks. Okay, third rule I live by my calendar is if it's in there, right, if it's blocked off, it's getting done. So what this means, for example, on a Tuesday morning, I just really cannot work out because I stressed my body out too much on the workout on Monday. I'm just so much more fatigued, right? So what I'll do, it's fine. The block still remains, but I'll move the block from Tuesday to maybe a Wednesday evening instead. So now my workout will be Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So what this means, right, it's okay to reschedule the things. It's okay to move the blocks around the calendar as long as the block is there. It's still getting done no matter what. It's just that it doesn't have to be fixed on that day itself. This is why a calendar is so powerful, because I use this board to pre-plan. I use my calendar on that day to reschedule if needed, and I stick to what's in there because I know that these are the lever moving tasks. This is actually what matters to ensure I strive for my goal. And what is so special, right, is when I actually have my work blocks, right, I do it with my calendar and also a timer. This allows me to enter deep states of flow. Like when I'm scripting my video for 2 hours, I'm scripting my video, nothing else enters my mind because I'm in a zone. I'm in the state, and I'm telling you, flow state is one of the most pleasurable experiences for the human mind because you're reaching, this is how artists, by the way, they can do hours and hours of painting, 10 plus hours. They forget to use the washroom, they forget to eat, they forget to drink because they are so immersed in the work itself. They completely forget everything else that exists. The surrounding is just the surrounding. You're in a peak mode. Entering flow state is an elite experience I feel everyone should experience. I feel everyone should get a taste of. So when I have blocked out the 2 hours of scripting or 2 hours of filming, right, I'm just in the zone because I've clear action tasks and I have a deadline, as in I've blocked out the 2 hours of time. So I'm going into it and I'm getting it done. Friend, the book Flow by Milhe, I'm telling you, it is so good. Just by understanding how the human mechanism works, right? It's just so beautiful. Our brains and our bodies are wired to hunt and achieve the things that we want. Even if it's content goals, finance goals, health goals, because we don't need to hunt for food today. It's already present. I can just go to the supermarket and buy what I want, right? But these goals, being in the pursuit of it, having deep work sessions, get your dopamine, your flow state. Oh, also in the book Traction, also in the book Indestructible by Nir Eyal, he talks about distractions and tractions. Sometimes your brain doesn't know if this is just a regular action. For example, if I have a goal to wanting to engage on to build a community on TikTok, right? Engaging the platform, scrolling and intentionally commenting, tailoring my FYP to fit what is my niche, like self-productivity, setting goals, health systems. Then what I'm doing is traction, because traction is something that pushes you towards your goals, whereas distraction is something that pulls you away from your goals. If your goal, for example, is to get A's on your exam or your test or whatever, you need to put in deep blocks of study sessions and active recall and spaced repetition, right? Then when you're scrolling and engaging on TikTok, there's something that pulls you away from your goal. So there's a distraction. So you get so clear on your action tasks, on your lever moving tasks, and it's scheduled so clearly on a calendar, right? Wow. You have no room for distraction. Okay, this is what a real snapshot of my calendar looks like at the end of the week. You can see that I have literally no room for anything else because going to work, going to school, and focusing on my action tasks to achieve what I need, right? It just takes up all my time, and it takes up so much of mind space because, right, well, I'm telling you, the feeling of having this, right, working out with so much of intention, so much of clarity, the feeling is just immaculate. It is unmatched. Having deep work states, having deep work block states to help you enter flow states without any distraction is just peak. Okay, so then, right, there's gonna be a weekly review that you do. Okay, weekly review is actually the game changer. Because right now you have, number one, the raw data in your Google Sheets. This is my 12-week year Q1 tracker. Okay, so week 0 I hit 52%. Week 0 is actually the week before the year started. I want to have a trial week just to be able to see how the year goes. So that's why I have a trial week. Week 1 I hit 74%. So I did my reflection on that. Week 2 I hit 82%. And week 3 is we're in the progress of week 3 right now, right? So the reason why you need to do a weekly reflection, right, is for you to understand 3 things. Firstly, did you actually execute what you wanted to do? So in week 0, 52% was actually only half and it wasn't even the green zone, right? So then I reflected, okay, did I like misplan something? Did I miscalculate the time I needed for certain tasks? Because what you can do is course correct. In the book Atomic Habits, James Clear give this example. When a plane from New York wants to go to Los Angeles, I think, if it starts the direction just 3 degrees to the south, right, the whole trajectory of the plane will change and it will end up in Washington DC, which is a whole different country. Basically, I say if you don't course correct either at the beginning of the path or when the plane's traveling in the middle, right, you will end up in a whole different direction. You will end up in a whole different place. The direction you go matters, and therefore, as you do a weekly reflection, right, you're able to like correct your path or your course such that you end up where you want, which is your starting place, and your end point, which is like all the goals that you want to achieve. So weekly reflection: what went well, what didn't go well, what can I do next week to improve better. And in the what went well, right, an example, in week 2 I actually blocked off time to rest at the end of the day, and because it was during week 1, I felt really like overwhelmed, like I was doing a lot of things and my whole day was taken up such that I didn't even have time to just sit and breathe a bit. So I wanted to block off intentional rest time after the day ends instead of just one day on Sunday. And I realized doing that, right, forced me to finish my work early in the day, and even if I didn't finish it was fine, I'll just reschedule for the next day. Just allowing myself the time to rest and breathe made me a much more happier person in general. So usually what I do doing that, because what makes me truly happy is reading. So I currently have both of these on my TBR. So David is a new thriller author that I haven't tried before, so I'm really excited to try this. Basically just having some time to read, some time to wind down, right, just makes me so happy and it makes me look forward to the end of the day. So I know like there's a reward waiting for me when I get home, and this tuned my mind so much. That's why the weekly reflections are so powerful, because if you realize something works and something doesn't work, right, you can just make adjustments to your life such that you want to do that. It's just so magical. I hope what I'm saying makes sense though. I even made notes just to convey my thoughts better because typing wasn't sufficient. So I really hope that what I'm saying, like, you know, reaches you the right way. Okay, then the next thing to do in the end of week reflection is actually to plan the next week based on your feedback. So I was able to block out Monday and Tuesday mornings of gym sessions because the previous week I realized after gym, as in like after working hours in the gym, right, it's just so crowded and I don't have enough space to do it. But Monday and Tuesdays I only day have school, so I'm able to do it later. Whereas after Friday when I come back, but the after Friday slot is kind of like a bit not much of a choice because there's just the next time block that works for me. And also, right, you look at your like you do reflection based on your raw data. So let's say I did 75%. Okay, great, I'm winning, my dopamine is like happy. I kept my commitment, and the reason why this 12-week year, right, it instilled so much of self-confidence and belief in me because I'm actually doing what I said I would do. I'm like backing my word, you know. And I know that every time I hit like a certain percentage, as long as it's green, right, I'm making some sort of progress that at the end of the 12 weeks, right, I'll look back and I'll be so happy. Okay, so this is where the addiction loop is, because every single week, right, you have a chance to, every single week you get some sort of feedback. Every single new week you have a chance to win, you have a chance to execute. Your self-belief, right, it will compound and just shoot through the roof. I went from someone who couldn't stick to anything in life to someone who's obsessed with like improving and setting goals and like making myself a better person, because I've proven to myself, not just based on my mood, you know, like based on raw data, what actually I can stick to, that I can actually follow through with what I've planned. Because you're no longer like chasing the next hit. Oh, the reason why we binge eat junk food, high in sugar, high in fat, doom scroll, watch porn, is because our brains are not satisfied with where we are right now. We want the next dopamine hit. We want something else. We want something more. Like when you're scrolling TikTok, right, you want to scroll the next one because you want to watch that, you want to see, you want more. But when you're with your friends, when you're laughing, when you're having such a good time, you don't need more of it. You are currently content with where you're right now. This 12-week year, this system, planning out my life in my Google Calendar, in my sheets on my books, makes me so happy where I am right now. And I don't need more. I'm already in the zone. Like, I'm in pursuit of my goal. And what I say at the front, right, like literally, and accomplishing isn't in the front of it. It's in the pursuit of your goal. That is true happiness, being in the pursuit of what you want to achieve. Because at the end of the day, having a goal is not to accomplish something, right? It's to change your identity. It is to be a new person. Because now that if I have like, lose 2.5 kg of fat, hit this number of subscribers, YouTube will be part of my identity. I'm a content creator. I publish content, self-improvement content, and I want to be able to impact lives just how I've changed mine. It becomes part of my identity, and this will become routine. These goals I set, being able to post twice a week, it will be a routine, it will be part of my lifestyle, so that when I go to Q2, Q1 is really automated. Everything in Q1 is really automated, and so maintain it for the next quarters while I work on other areas of my life, like finance or whatever. Okay, so this was lead indicators, right? On the Google Sheets, you have lead indicators, basically your actions that push you forward. In the book 12 Week, it explains a bit more clearly, but just for me to summarize, the lag indicators are something that are out of your control. The number of subscribers you want to hit, the amount of muscle you want to gain, it's a bit out of your control because that's the end outcome you're striving for. The things you do in between, the action tasks, actually your lead indicators. So if your lead indicators is 85% and above every single week, Brian Lawrence says is very much possible to achieve your goal. But for lag indicators, I set aside time once every week. I'll just track how much my TikTok follower count increased. So for TikTok, actually, I've been working on it since Q4 of 2025, which is like the last year, right? And this is just a quick example. I have a chart to go with it. I try not to focus too much on the lag indicators because they're just out of my control. Lead indicators is what I can control. Let me be clear on what's happening here. This system works, right? It's because it's aligned with our brain's natural reward system, with our actual goals. Our brain wants to hunt, it wants to pursue, it wants to evolve, because that's just how we are wired. We want to win. If we didn't have problems to solve, if we didn't have like some sort of challenge, right, we would have never evolved from caveman to modern day living. And this system, it gives you exactly that. It allows you to pursue. You're not waiting for that one day, okay, when I feel like it, I'm gonna work out. No, it's set in stone, it's in your calendar, and you've planned it out, and you're gonna be tracking the raw data. You're not relying on motivation, you're not waiting for inspiration, you're acting on it, you're executing, and you know that since you planned it, you're gonna get it done. And you know that you're doing your future self a favor. You have built this machine, right? The reason why it's called system is because you're not working it works for you. Every time you execute, you get rewarded with dopamine. Every time you tick that box on your Google Sheets that just moves a bit of the percentage to your end of the week, right? You are rewarded with dopamine. And every time you're rewarded, it makes you want to execute again for the next week. It makes this process so compelling and it's not addiction to your goal actually, it's addiction to the process. I went from wanting to achieve something in my life, doing something meaningful, to not being able to stop executing, to not be able to stop achieving, because this system just works. If this resonates with you, please subscribe here. I'm really looking to build a community of people who are not just obsessed with goals, but obsessed with the process and becoming better humans, becoming the optimal and best versions of themselves. And just think about this. In 3 months, your dream life awaits you. You have achieved everything that your dream life, that your current self wants. Like your future self in 3 months has already achieved it all. If you're interested in having other systems, like at the end of each month on the 25th, I've written closeout here, and here, and here. You can check out this video here. This is where I do a monthly closeout to understand how each area of my life works, like finance, spirituality, basically everything else. So yeah, I'll see you in the next one. I hope I've added value to you in this video.